Gervonta Tank Davis has long been one of the most electrifying figures in boxing, known for his knockout power, blistering hand speed, and ability to captivate audiences with his explosive performances. However, in recent months, Davis has found himself at the center of controversy, facing increasing scrutiny from fans and experts alike. Many believe that his recent decisions, both inside and outside the ring, have not only hindered his career but have also negatively impacted the sport of boxing as a whole. Criticism has mounted over Davis' choice of opponents, with many in the boxing community arguing that he has failed to challenge himself against the best fighters available. While his talent is undeniable, some believe that if he continues making questionable choices and engaging in reckless behavior, he risks becoming just another ordinary fighter rather than the generational talent he has the potential to be. Some critics have even gone as far as to suggest that Davis appears content with mediocrity, which could ultimately lead to his downfall as a boxer. The most recent controversy surrounding Davis stems from his decision to fight Lamont Roach Jr., a super featherweight champion moving up in weight to challenge him. While Roach is widely regarded as a skilled and capable fighter, many believe he does not present a significant challenge to Davis. Critics argue that if Roach had successfully defended his titles at 135 pounds before taking on Davis, the matchup would have been more compelling. Instead, they see it as another example of Davis recycling past champions without making meaningful progress in his own career. This fight announcement was met with skepticism, particularly from former world champion and boxing analyst Paulie Malignaghi. He openly expressed his disappointment, stating that Davis should be facing the top contenders in the lightweight division rather than fighting smaller opponents moving up in weight. Malignaghi believes that such decisions not only damage Davis' legacy but also deprive fans of the best possible matchups. He compared it to a situation in which a python takes on a much smaller animal, emphasizing that the outcome is predictable and uninspiring for fight fans. Davis' recent months have been turbulent, to say the least. In early December 2024, he shocked the boxing world by announcing his retirement from the sport, only to follow up with conflicting statements regarding his future. Shortly after his retirement announcement, Davis engaged in a heated exchange with fellow boxing star Terence Crawford on social media, adding another layer of drama to an already chaotic period. Despite the uncertainty surrounding his future, Davis is still scheduled to defend his WBA lightweight title against Roach on March 1, 2025, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. As of now, no official changes to this fight date have been announced, though fans and analysts remain skeptical about whether the bout will go forward as planned. Adding to the intrigue, Davis has hinted that he will soon announce his next opponent, with many speculating that it will be a rematch against Ryan Garcia. Garcia, a former two-weight world champion, has been vocal in his criticism of Davis, accusing him of avoiding the toughest challenges available. Garcia is set to return to the ring on April 20, 2025, after serving a one-year suspension for testing positive for ostarine following his fight against Devin Haney. If Davis proceeds with his plans to retire after 3 more fights in 2025, he will have 2 additional opportunities to secure high-profile matchups before stepping away from the sport. Davis' career has been defined by his remarkable power and finishing ability. He burst onto the scene as one of boxing's youngest champions, claiming his first world title at just 22 years old. Over the years, he has held championships in the super featherweight, lightweight, and super lightweight divisions, cementing his status as a dominant force in the sport. His list of victories includes notable names such as Leo Santa Cruz, Mario Barrios, Rolando Romero, and Ryan Garcia. As of 2025, Davis remains undefeated, but his recent inactivity and questionable opponent choices have left many fans frustrated. One of the major concerns among boxing enthusiasts is that Davis is failing to maximize his potential. Despite his undeniable talent, he has not been as active as many would hope, leading to criticism that he is not truly testing himself against the best the sport has to offer. Fans have been calling for him to take on elite opponents such as Shakur Stevenson or Vasily Lomachenko, both of whom are widely considered to be among the best in the lightweight division. Beyond his choice of opponents, Davis' behavior outside the ring has also drawn criticism. His tendency to engage in social media feuds, make cryptic announcements, and contradict himself has made it difficult for fans to take his words seriously. Additionally, his legal troubles and personal controversies have further complicated his reputation, leading some to question whether he has the discipline and focus needed to maintain a long and successful career. Despite these concerns, Davis remains one of the sport's biggest draws. His ability to sell out arenas and generate pay-per-view revenue is undeniable, and his knockout power ensures that his fights are always entertaining. However, there is a growing fear that his current trajectory could lead him to squander his prime years. With his retirement now looming on the horizon, many are hoping that he will take on the biggest challenges available before walking away from the sport. Interestingly, Shakur Stevenson, the reigning WBC lightweight champion, has recently changed his perspective on Davis' retirement plans. Initially, Stevenson was critical of Davis, suggesting that he was avoiding the toughest fights. However, in recent interviews, Stevenson has taken a more understanding approach, acknowledging that the politics of boxing can be frustrating and that Davis may have legitimate reasons for wanting to step away from the sport. Davis' upcoming fight against Roach is expected to be a one-sided affair, with many believing that he will secure a dominant victory. However, the real question is what comes next. If Davis truly intends to retire after 3 more fights, he has limited opportunities to solidify his legacy. Will he take on the best opponents available, or will he continue to make safe choices that leave fans disappointed? While the main event in Brooklyn may not be the most anticipated fight, the undercard is expected to deliver some excitement. WBA super lightweight champion Jose Valenzuela will defend his title against Gary Antoine Russell, while WBC super lightweight champion Alberto Puello will face Sander Martin. These matchups provide additional intrigue to an otherwise underwhelming main event. Ultimately, Davis' decision to retire at the peak of his career has sent shockwaves throughout the boxing world. Some believe he is leaving too soon, while others argue that he has not done enough to cement his legacy. What is clear is that Davis remains one of the most charismatic and polarizing figures in the sport. His aggressive fighting style and knockout power have made him a fan favorite, but his reluctance to take on the toughest challenges has left many wondering what could have been. As his retirement approaches, discussions about his legacy will continue to dominate the boxing community. Will he be remembered as one of the greatest fighters of his era, or will he be seen as a talented but ultimately unfulfilled potential? That answer may depend on the choices he makes in his final fights. If he takes on elite opponents and delivers memorable performances, he could leave the sport as a true legend. But if he continues on his current path, he risks being remembered as a fighter who never truly tested his limits. With so much uncertainty surrounding his future, all eyes will be on Davis as he steps into the ring on March 1, 2025. Whether this marks the beginning of the end or the start of a new chapter remains to be seen. One thing is certain: his next moves will be critical in shaping how history remembers him. In the months leading up to his final fights, Gervonta Tank Davis has remained at the center of intense boxing discussions. Shakur Stevenson recently weighed in on Davis' potential retirement, making it clear that while he is open to facing Davis, he will not chase the opportunity. Speaking with Fight Hub TV, Stevenson acknowledged that if Davis chooses to end his career on his own terms, that is his decision, though he personally disagrees with it. "If he's willing to fight, I'm ready," Stevenson stated. "But I can't sit there and chase him. He tries to make it seem as though I need him. Man, I don't need him." Davis's retirement plans, set for 2025, have led to speculation about whether he will engage in some of the biggest fights before stepping away. One of the most anticipated matchups is a showdown with Stevenson, a fight that could define this era in the lightweight division. However, if Davis retires without facing Stevenson, it would leave fans disappointed and the division with unanswered questions. While Stevenson prepares for his upcoming fight against rising star Floyd Schofield Jr. on February 22 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the possibility of a fight with Davis remains uncertain. Meanwhile, former four-division world champion Mikey Garcia has also shared his thoughts, suggesting that a unification bout between Davis and Vasily Lomachenko would be more thrilling than a fight with Stevenson. Garcia recognizes Stevenson's talent, calling him a great fighter with exceptional footwork, speed, and reflexes. However, he believes a Davis-Lomachenko fight would offer more excitement. "I'll tell you why I'm not a big fan of that fight, Davis vs. Stevenson," Garcia explained. "Now, I do believe Shakur Stevenson is a great fighter. As far as skills go, he's got the talent, the skills, a great boxer. But he's going to fight his fight, no matter what the critics or fans want to see. That's just his style." Despite praising Stevenson's technical abilities, Garcia pointed out that his measured, tactical approach may not generate the same excitement as a fight against Lomachenko. He argued that Lomachenko's aggressive, action-packed style would make for a more entertaining matchup with Davis. Lomachenko, a three-division champion, currently holds a lightweight title but has not defended it since winning it from George Kambosos Jr. in June 2023. After missing an initial 60-day medical extension deadline that expired on January 11, the International Boxing Federation ordered a bout between contenders Raymond Muratalla and Zor Abdullaev for an interim championship. Lomachenko's status remains uncertain, further complicating the potential matchups in the division. As Stevenson prepares for his title defense against Schofield, he has faced criticism for his passive approach in recent fights, particularly in victories over Edwin de los Santos and Artem Harutyunyan. Garcia believes Stevenson will need to adjust his style if he wants to secure a high-profile fight with Davis. "He's got the talent, the skills, great footwork, speed, reflexes, and counter-punching ability. He's one of the very best. But I'm not a fan of that fight with Davis," Garcia reiterated. For Davis, before considering potential showdowns with Stevenson or Lomachenko, his immediate focus is on his next bout against Lamont Roach on January 25, 2025. Garcia believes Davis will easily handle Roach, who is moving up in weight to challenge him at 135 pounds, given Davis's superior experience, skill, and knockout power. Beyond the ring, Davis recently made headlines for his absence from the Ring magazine's annual awards ceremony in London. Despite boasting an unbeaten record of 30 wins, including 28 knockouts, and announcing his retirement plans for 2025, Davis was noticeably left out of the event. His exclusion is believed to be linked to his strained relationship with Riyadh Season's Turki Alalshik, who owns the Ring magazine. Davis did not take the snub lightly, expressing his frustration on social media. He posted and later deleted several comments about the situation, feeling disrespected by his omission. The incident quickly escalated when welterweight champion Terence Crawford took the opportunity to mock Davis. Crawford, who has been in discussions with Alalshik and is rumored to be closing in on a blockbuster fight with Canelo Alvarez, used Davis's absence to take a jab at him. Crawford shared a post reading, "I see somebody mad they weren't invited to the Ring magazine gala. I remember being left out. That's why when they let me in, I crashed the party," accompanied by laughing emojis. This message followed Davis's now deleted posts, fueling an ongoing rivalry between the two. While Davis later removed his comments, Crawford's response intensified the tension, turning the situation into a social media spectacle. The exchange between the two champions has only added to the drama surrounding Davis's final year in the sport. As the lightweight division continues to take shape, Davis remains at the center of speculation. Whether he faces Stevenson, Lomachenko, or another top contender, fans are eager to see how he will conclude his career. With his next fight against Roach on the horizon and retirement looming, the boxing world watches closely to see what moves Davis will make before stepping away from the sport. Gervonta Davis has once again found himself at the center of controversy, as he recently expressed frustration over not being invited to a high-profile boxing gala. Several publications managed to capture and report on his remarks before he deleted them. Davis openly questioned why certain individuals were invited while others were left out, implying that the event organizers selectively invited those they collaborated with. He did not hold back in his criticism and took direct shots at prominent figures in the boxing world, including promoter Eddie Hearn, whom he mockingly referred to as a little rat who thought he had achieved something significant. Davis continued his criticism by suggesting that those present at the gala should fight each other rather than bask in their supposed accomplishments. He also singled out Turki Alalshik, accusing him of lacking any real knowledge of boxing. His frustrations extended to the head of Riyadh Season, whom he accused of being looted despite not having a genuine understanding of the sport. Davis questioned why this influential figure was not focusing on developing fighters from his own region, implying that his supposed expertise in boxing was misplaced. These messages, like many others, were soon deleted, but not before they stirred up significant discussion within the boxing community. Tensions escalated further between Davis and Terence Crawford, with Davis launching a scathing critique of fighters who leave the United States to earn their paychecks, only to compete in front of nearly empty arenas. This argument seemed to be aimed at Crawford, who has been involved in major international fights. Their dispute intensified when Davis began boasting about his wealth, which prompted a swift response from Crawford. The back-and-forth exchange led to yet another series of deleted posts from Davis, in which he ridiculed Crawford's financial standing. Davis boldly claimed, "I still make more than you," insinuating that Crawford was not as financially successful as he appeared to be. He continued to assert his financial superiority by emphasizing his investments and lack of debt, attempting to discredit Crawford's status in the sport. In one of his deleted posts, Davis challenged Crawford by stating that there was nothing the latter could buy that he himself could not afford. Crawford, known for his sharp responses, did not back down and continued to taunt Davis, igniting further hostilities between the two fighters. The heated exchange between them captivated fans, who speculated whether this war of words could lead to an actual fight in the future, despite their considerable weight difference. This online feud comes on the heels of a shocking announcement made by Davis during a press conference for his upcoming fight against Lamont Roach Jr. In an unexpected move, Davis declared that he would retire from boxing by the end of 2025. This revelation raised several questions about his motivations, especially given his apparent frustration over not being invited to the gala. If Davis truly intends to step away from the sport, some have questioned why he is so concerned with events and rivalries that seemingly have no bearing on his career trajectory. Crawford, on the other hand, has had a long history of verbal spats with Davis. After his impressive victory over Errol Spence Jr., which earned him undisputed status, Crawford heard about Davis's claim that he could beat him if they fought at 147 pounds. During an appearance on The Breakfast Club, Crawford responded to Davis's comments, acknowledging his talent but dismissing the idea that Davis could stand a chance against him at welterweight. Crawford asserted that boxing operates at different levels and that stepping up in weight class would present a challenge far beyond anything Davis had ever faced. While the idea of a Davis vs. Crawford bout remains highly unlikely, the two fighters have competed in similar divisions throughout their careers. Crawford began his professional journey in the lightweight division, the same class in which Davis currently reigns as a world champion. Crawford later moved up and became undisputed at super lightweight, a division where Davis has also held a title. Crawford has since transitioned to welterweight and even made his debut at 154 pounds last year, whereas Davis remains at 135 pounds, continuing to dominate the lightweight division. Despite the weight gap, Davis has previously stated that he would knock out Crawford, though it remains unclear whether he was entirely serious or merely attempting to stir controversy. Crawford, however, has issued a warning to Davis, cautioning him against punching above his weight class. "I mean, you came up from 135, right? He isn't fighting any real guys at 147, Crawford remarked, underscoring the vast difference in competition between their respective divisions. Although a fight between Davis and Crawford remains nothing more than a hypothetical scenario, some analysts and former champions have weighed in on the potential matchup. Roy Jones Jr., a legendary multi-division world champion, commented that if the fight were to take place at around 145 pounds, it could be an intriguing contest. He highlighted Davis's explosiveness as a crucial factor that could make the bout competitive, even against an opponent as skilled as Crawford. Jones pointed out that power and speed play a vital role in boxing, and Davis's ability to generate knockout power at lower weight classes could potentially pose problems for Crawford. As both fighters continue to forge their own paths, their focus remains on their upcoming bouts. Crawford is eyeing a fight with super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez, which would require him to move up another 14 pounds, a daunting challenge for any fighter. Meanwhile, Davis is preparing for his clash with Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1, 2025, before likely calling it quits at the end of the year. Fans are eagerly anticipating Davis's next fight in Brooklyn, expecting yet another dominant performance from the hard-hitting lightweight champion. If Davis secures a victory, it would further cement his legacy in the sport before his anticipated retirement. However, given his tendency to stir controversy and remain highly vocal about boxing politics, many wonder if he will truly step away from the sport as he claims. While Davis remains a dominant force in boxing, another major storyline is brewing: the long-awaited matchup between Shakur Stevenson and Davis. This fight, which has been heavily speculated on for months, has yet to be finalized, much to the frustration of Davis's CO trainer, Kenny Ellis. Ellis has publicly accused Stevenson of delaying the fight intentionally, suggesting that even if Stevenson wins his next bout, he will find an excuse to avoid facing Davis. According to Ellis, this is merely a stalling tactic designed to buy time, further delaying what many believe could be one of the most significant fights in modern boxing. As fans eagerly await the resolution of these brewing rivalries, Davis continues to make waves both inside and outside the ring. Whether it's his ongoing feud with Crawford, his criticism of boxing figures, or his bold claims about retirement, one thing is certain: Gervonta Davis remains one of the most talked about figures in the sport. His explosive fighting style, combined with his controversial persona, ensures that he will remain in the spotlight, whether or not he ultimately follows through with his plans to retire. With the 2025 boxing schedule shaping up to be one of the most thrilling in years, all eyes will be on Davis as he steps into the ring, potentially for the last time, in what promises to be an unforgettable chapter in his storied career.